Righto punters, hello. Welcome to the mailbag preview for Caulfield on the 28th of July, the last city meeting for the Melbourne season. We've got Drew and myself here, at the Profits and Atvic bookmaker, so let's get stuck into them.
Welcome. It's been a big week, hasn't it, in racing?
Well, it hasn't really been a big week in racing, but it's been a big week in football. I don't know if, most people might have seen the clash between Melbourne or Geelong and Melbourne down at Cardinia Park.
How good was the finish?
Well, the finish was pretty ordinary if you were supporting Melbourne or may have backed them to win the premiership.
Well, you know me, I love my internationals, so Zach Tilley, an Irish lad.
Well, that hurt as well, being a Carlton supporter. We're a very ordinary side, but people may not know that Drew was front and square and heavily involved in the biff. Bring back the biff.
I would not say heavily involved. I was heavily involved with a camera, standing back watching the buffoons in a area that I've stood for 10 years and never seen a fight in my life.
So what happened, Drew?
Oh, they're just a few drunk idiots, and they were, having a go. Let me put it this way. If you're going to pick a fight at the football, you don't do it when 95% of people are of the opposing team, do you? No. Because you're going to have people jump in on you. It's just rule number one of picking a fight. And guess what happened?
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
And they had not one, not two, but three goes at, they got...
Now, mind you, this is live and exclusive to the mailbag preview.
Well, I tell you what, I got door stopped Sunday morning at 8:30. And when I say door stopped, I mean where my business is registered, which is not my house, but my parents' house. And they actually thought that I may have died when they saw two guys come to the door in clothing that looked like cops. So I got a panicked call after.
Drew had sampled the finer delights of the Geelong night scene after the game too, mind you. And what bedtime was 5 a.m, wasn't it?
5 a.m, yeah.
Yeah, 8:30 Herald Sun rock up. Try and get it live and exclusive.
It's Channel 10.
Channel 10, but you've got to hear first and foremost on the mailbag.
I'll tell you what, the 20 phone calls I had that day.
Yeah.
Not welcome.
No good with a few beers in the belly.
No. So obviously I denied every interview because it's just, what am I going to say? The vision spoke for itself.
Yeah. Oh, I got a bit wet. There was a bit of beer went on my back. Turned around, blokes were punching the suitcase out of each other.
Pretty much.
Got my phone out. No one's paid me enough yet.
No one paid me a thing, and a few people didn't even put a credit down on where they bought it from. Well, got it from, sorry.
Yeah, at theprofits.com.au.
If you're going to take someone's video, at least credit it.
Yeah. Now, how'd we go? The sets last week were all right, weren't they?
Yeah, so Rob had probably his best week in 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. Doubled the return.
That's good. 100% return on investment, which is always good.
Pete was up slight. I think it was about, in the end, about 1.5 to 2 units. So
still a small win.
Yeah, he's had a good week, Pete. So he's been a bit more on the money consistently. Mm-hmm. He's been battling some pretty bad weather. Did you see yesterday? There was massive storms.
Monsoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he still had a fairly decent day. So pretty happy with that. The boys are back at it on the weekend. Rob's at Rose Hill. Pete's at Belmont. I'll be just doing my recording stuff just while Dicko's away at Caulfield, still just compiling some data for us, but not sending anything out.
Mm-hmm. Also, big thank you for Betfair, the Get With The Game stuff. I can now roll out of the shower and put my robe on.
Be a personalised robe?
Personal robe, the JW. They bought a big one for me. They must think I'm going to grow into it, which is a possibility. So, no, thanks to the boys at Betfair.
I'll be interested. I've got to pick mine up. The courier dropped a little letter to say pick this up from Port Melbourne.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. Just get down there, get it on.
Well, I'm thinking, geez, we'll have one big enough. We'll find out.
They'll squeeze me. You'll squeeze him. It'll be sweet. Right, we kick off with Melbourne.
I think get straight into it. Obviously, I would just say yard pack to get the blokes,
Yep.
for the weekend, and movers are still available. Dicko's still doing it while he's away.
With some help.
Yeah, definitely.
So, no, that's all good. Well, righto, Drew, race one.
Race one, Caulfield. You'd think I'd be more prepared.
That's all right, I can start off.
Social Spin's a favourite, $2.20. Reuben Blues been actually really well backed. It was about $3.20 when I was looking first opens, now $2.40. $8.50 Wildflyer and Longer the Rest. In terms of the map here, I haven't got a lot of speed on in the race, so there's two main chances to go forward in DeGrammy and Rock Dove, but outside of that, Social Spin should get a really good spot just off the speed from barrier 2. Wildflyer, what do they do with it? I think they try and get a slot in. Other than that, a few of them map further back.
Oh, look, it's just a race in 2. I favour Ruben Blue on top. The thing that may beat it is the Caulfield track pattern.
Yep.
But if it was a match race, it would be on Ruben Bleu. Social Spin trialled at Werribee before winning at Swan Hill. The Social Spin was the horse that we mentioned on the show a couple of weeks ago where, I don't know, the rest of the book he's just pushed out the gate. I kept it in single figures. It's been a friend of mine. But I think Ruben Bleu might have the class, and it may sit a little bit closer than mapped, but
it was slow out last start, so that's the main issue with it, I guess.
For sure, but with a bit of education, Jay Childs rides all right, but I don't think this race is a betting proposition. Look, you know, it's even money each or two, and big odds the rest. So look, I'll sit back and watch, and once again with the pattern, sometimes a 2-year-old they can lead and win, but yeah, look, if I hold any money, that'd be great. I think it'd be pretty quiet. So, but, race 2 is a lot. What's a capacity feel?
Yeah, I'd just say with Social Spin, the only positive I would say if I was thinking of betting there, which I'm not based on the prices, its mapping is better, and for that type of age race, I would always rather be closer to the speed than out the back. So
100%.
That'd be the only consideration I'd make on it.
Yep, agreed.
19 nominations. We've got a capacity field. Wide open race with lots of chances. 460 Soul Star, obviously bit unlucky last start. Best is 550 around. See Me Exceed 550, Miss Pan Danis 550, and longer odds the rest are all double figures outside of that. So Honey Esprit $11. Yeah.
Tricky.
They keep on going. I mean, there's just so many chances in this race. Try doing the map for this one, getting it right. You can do it 20 different ways and you're not going to get it right. I have to believe Geneva Diva is going to go forward. Consider it done. Honey Esprit is still going to kick up, but probably try for cover. Blondie's a leader, but do they lead with it? They probably have to from that barrier right. Island Day is going to go forward. I'm Queen's going to go forward, and they've still got the next line who there's still potential of horses to push up. So there's lots of speed in this. This could be the race where they run on.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that. I watched the race at Sale on the 12th of July, Miss Pandanus. It was enormous. It's gone from a maiden to a 0 to 70 in 1, which is a big effort. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. It's jumped 3 grades or 2 grades or whatever it is, and it did beat Nantali. Nantali come out and won reasonably confidently at Flemington last week. Drawing well, Chop King Jr. on. Query is the map, but if I had to choose a horse out of this race to put in my stable, that'd be the horse I'd be choosing to keep for the next going forward. Soul Star was very unlucky last start and ran very well, but it's drawing barrier 19 and will get will not find a good position in the run, I wouldn't have thought, but it could open up. It's just once again, it's a tricky race. Number 14, Necessary. Is it still in? I did the form for this.
It's still in, yes.
Yep. It's a real... no, it's not in.
It's been scratched now?
It has been scratched. Yeah. Well, it's not running, so it doesn't matter. But the one to watch is Miss Pandanus. Island Days trainer change M Kent to G Begg, which is... I'm not sure why. I like backing Michael Kent horses, so once again, I'll just keep coming back to Miss Pandanus.
Is that a negative trainer change, that one?
I don't know if it's negative, it's just strange. I don't know how or why. I don't know if there's some political conflict between the owners. Who really knows? But if the pace is on... the query runner is TARDIS.
Yeah.
Heath Connors. But...
I mean, that Demerara form's just... It should hold up, but once again, where does the horse map awkwardly?
First up.
Yeah, it's a query horse. Just like I'd say, Soul Star's a query horse here with how it maps as well, as you said. Like it's a tough race.
It's not a query map. It's got barrier 19. It's going to get back to the Shies, and so yeah, it's not really a betting proposition for me, especially Miss Pandanus. I've just spoken about it over and over, but it is probably short enough too. It's well found in the market. Another big field for race 3, 1600 metres.
Yes, Mantastic's come up $2.60 favourite. The Avenger $7. Paramus Boy $8. Red Chooks $8. The Passage $11. Kaching $14. Even Portion Control $14. It's a really open field, wide of the rest, but they just keep on going with some pretty quality horses. Mapping wise, Lord Durante is the obvious to try and push them along, but they actually, so the query with Lord Durante is they haven't done that a lot lately. So if you can't really get cover from barrier 16 is the problem, so I'm still mapping that he's probably going to be pushing the tempo. Like to think so, should be pushing it as well. Parallel World and Strike Force obviously will be up there. But it's a really tricky race in terms of pace, because if Lord Durante doesn't try and push any tempo, I'm not sure how much Like to think so is going to put into it based on what's previously done.
Yeah, yep. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. I do believe that Mantastic should have every chance to win this race. And the 260, 270 is probably not bad shopping for this. Once again, as long as it's not a mad leaders track, which last couple of weeks it hasn't been, and by now we might be able to get a feel for it, because there will be horses trying to make ground in race 2. With a clear running, Mantastic's at 1. It's the international. It's by Fastnet Rock, which helps, which basically says they've paid a bit of money for it. 4th run back from a spell, 1700 back to 1600. I don't think is a negative, so it should be hard and fit. And it's Darren Weir, as we say. Small claim helps. The Avenger was good last start, but barrier 14, 60 kilos, may end up in front of Mantastic, but if Mantastic's a length or so off it, I'd rather be on Mantastic than the Avenger. And the Avenger had the perfect map, everything go its way last start. So the horse, there's 2 roughies which I don't mind. Strike Force gets the run of the race with small claim, barrier 2, but it's a bad barrier horse. I'm led to believe, like blankets, blindfolds, all that. So I mean, if it turns up and doesn't get the shits, it'd be something I'd probably save on. Even if it's not away, it's probably no worse than midfield with lack of tempo from most horses around it. It's going to get the run of the race. The other horse I thought was big overs and can improve is Krusty, senior jockey aboard, has put in some relatively good runs in previous preps. 4-year-old by Sebring, it's $34. I mean, no moral, but I won't be going around. It'd probably be 60s on the fair when they come to jump. It'd be something I'll be having 10, 15, 20, $30 on. If I win on the first 2 out of 30, if I lose on the first 2 out of 10. But just to sort of save it, pay for a round of drinks. But not a bad race at all, but I'm with Mantastic. Yeah, there are just 2 I'd probably mention. This is such a wide open race. I mean, you can mention Kaching and a few others. I thought Portion Control's last start run, it was really stop-start. It was 3 wide from load of before it got in, probably about 600 metres. So it's facing the breeze down the back. It's going to run a really good race. It's going to have a lot more cover this time from barrier 6 and get the right spot wherever they want to be. And I thought the Passage, Snowden's in a really hot streak of form at the moment with horses in Melbourne. This horse is having, I think it's 3rd run in a row down in Melbourne, and I think it's just ready to fire. So I think it's probably the overs from barrier 9. It shouldn't get too bad a spot. I don't think about the Passage. I reckon it's an ex-Weir horse. They just don't seem to come on. That's a fair point. Yeah, it is an ex-Weir horse. Yeah. So anyway, but no, I'm happy to put in on Mantastic at the price. Race 4, Druzy. Race 4, 1200 metres, Just Highfalutin. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd say Just Highfalutin's a city favourite, $3.20, but here we go. Merriest $5, Mon Wonder $6.50, Princess of Queen $7s, Moon Lover $9s, Evil Lil $11, Queen Annabelle $13s, and long to the rest. In terms of mapping, we have Mon Wonder probably leads. It came from back last start, but I guess we'll have to put in a change of tactics to do that. I mean, it's led previously and it's won previously leading, and there's no real pace horse here. Like, Moon Lover's not going to lead, but it's going to be forward.
Chiavari, the same thing. Princess of Queens prefers cover. Marius maybe goes forward and leads, but once again, I think it wants cover. So I just keep coming back to Mon Wonder getting such a dream run out front. And then you got Just Highfalutin sitting back probably the rails.
Yeah, I've got a different view on the race. I think Marius might be the class horse here, back to Mare's grade. We'll find out if it's ready first up. It's drifted in the market to date, but it doesn't mean it's not ready. I mean, if it starts $8 or $9, we know it's not ready, but if it hangs around about that $5 mark, D. Oliver aboard. It has, I mean, it runs, it beat Petition, ran second an hour later. It's beaten by Global Glamour, who's a Group 1 mare. And then we've been beaten 1.5 lengths first up last time by Stellar Collision, in an
Good
open
form.
grade race, and then gone up the Magic Millions. I think this is a class horse. Just Highfalutin was very good last start down the straight at Flemington, but may get well back in the run. When I've done the form, I thought, one at the price from 2. Apparently Prince of Queens has had a good jump out, which I'm not a big fan of the jump outs comparative to the trials, but it maps well. And Maraquita missed the last start and ran through the line. It's probably the roughie. I'm happy to sort of put Modern Wonder in. I just can't. It's a horse I can't catch. Evil Lil has got bar plates on, which I just pen straight away when they've got bar plates. But
no, it ran so well last start, but then you see the bar plates. And...
it did run well last start. The bar plates are no good. Look, in a perfect world, Marius stays firm in the market. I'll lay all the rest of them. He hits the line, and there's something in the bag after race 4.
Perfect. I would probably say Mon Wonder's my bet of the card. Each way, I just think this horse, just when I saw it in the yard last start, I'm using a bit of Dicko's knowledge here, I just think it's got the improvement to come here. I think it loomed last start, it ran super, it just didn't have that fitness on its side. It's had that run now, it's ready to fire, and I don't think it's best suited running on. Like, I think if they
roll with it.
Exactly. I think it's really well suited, and you're getting about $7 now. I think it's into $6.50.
Righto, Drewsy's put his hand on the table and said, right, Modern Wonder each way.
Exactly.
Race 5, 2,400 metre.
These are the races that I don't like to bet into necessarily when they're this young, but there's obviously a standout here. Mount Kilcoy, $2.20. Oceans, $14, $7.50. Dante Rosser, $11. Barella, $12. And much longer the rest. There's lots of runners, but they've clearly come for one horse, and rightly so in Mount Kilcoy.
Agreed. I don't think we're going to hear any arguments. I think it'll eat up the 2,400 metres.
So the query on this one, right, just going back to the mapping, is where's the speed for it? So do they push forward with Mount Kilcoy, knowing that there's a lack of... So there was genuine tempo last start.
Correct.
And then they got it wrong the start before at Flemington, where there wasn't genuine tempo. Mm-hmm. So do they make the same mistake from barrier 9 and potentially sit 3/4 way back, or do they just push it out a little bit more, knowing that they're...
I think they'll sit midfield on it and just get it rolling on the turn. Like the Caulfield track, if it's rolling on the turn... some of these horses will be tested for 2,400 metres to see if they're actually staying horses. So they'll find out whether they go back to a mile or they can actually run the 2,400 metres. Mount Kilcoy is clearly on top. It is short enough at $2.20, but it can probably win. Dante Rossetti, the Gay Waterhouse horse, it's likely to be hard and fit and might go to the top. So with not a lot of pace in the race, it's a real query runner, and everyone knows my thoughts on Gay Waterhouse. I just hate she sits there and all her horses are magic and wonderful and yada yada yada. But this horse, it pains me to actually put these in my numbers, but it's probably well in the market because it gets an easy lead. Now
Stevie Baster as well. That's generally a good combo down here.
And he'll put the spurs on one he drew.
Of course, he'll always put stuff on to get them going.
Kick him up. The value in the race is C's No Limit, the 12. I thought it was, from the replays, it ran through the line last start in the Mount Kilcoy race. But Mount Kilcoy on top, Dante Rossetti and C's No Limit They're the three marked in the book. Jeez.
Oh, get you some water, mate.
I'm struggling on here.
I'd just say, obviously, Mount Kilcoy, I can't tip around it. There's no thrills in the price, but it is what it is, and it is a genuine $2 shot.
But this is what happens this time of year too. Like there's some of these horses be tested, brought back for spring. Others will just continue on with their winter prep and finish up, end of August when the good horses are coming back. But look, it's just racing. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
And from a bookmaking point of view, I've just got to work with it. I mean, I don't mind the even money favourites. I love them because they're the ones that punters will back on course. But when they look like they're going to win, So, but the Mount Kilcoy looks the winner, but the map is my mild concern.
There's no improvement to come from the yard, I'd say. So I would say last start, Mascalino was at its complete top, and so was Mount Kilcoy. Mm-hmm. Now Mount Kilcoy's been up less of the time, so it's it's not too much of a query of it's going to maintain fitness and keep going. But
the way it went through the line looked like it'd get the 25 metres.
Definitely, and that pace was just significant earlier as well. Like it was a tough, brutal race, and it's still. That tells you it wants further. Well,
the other thing is with these races, young horses, one of them, they can play up and get keen and then put the pace on. If that actually happens, then Mount Kilcoy goes from being hard to beat to moral.
Yeah, well, if the pace is on, what's beating it? Nothing.
Let's get into race 6, Druzy.
Race 6, speaking of horses you'd never expect to be a favourite ever, Bondiga, $3.60. Self-Sense, $4.80. El Melita, $7. Tristano, $7.50. Sasco, $8.50. Tough Bicky, $9. Keys had 2 winners on Wednesday, didn't he?
Yeah.
Stable's flying.
Apparently so, yes. I don't mind backing his horse. El Passam's been really good to me the last few weeks.
Oh, how good was El Passam?
No, it was good when
what a
filler.
What a filler.
I don't know about that. We live to fight another day. There's some money in the bank.
$12.50 last week,
gas in the tank.
How good. Ola Nero, $9.50. Under Oath, $11. I thought was a bit of overs. Mm-hmm. Mapping wise, once again, a bit of a tricky one. El Melita probably leads, but Under Oath led 2 starts back and is an on-pace runner, so there's not enough speed on it. I think it probably try and push it to be a little bit faster, because I've got that feeling El Melita is just going to try and go benchmark no faster, where I think Under Oath ran its best race 2 back when it went slightly faster than that. Ola Nero from the wide and push forward, Self-Sense will be on speed. Bondiga, last in run.
Yep.
A lot of favourites last in run on the day.
Yeah, well, I looked at this race. Well, obviously looked at the race. That's what I'm doing here on the show. It didn't seem to me like a race with a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Ola Nero I had near the lead, and I think it goes better when it's closer to the pace.
Definitely.
2,400 metres is sort of a test for Ola Nero. I keep on coming back to Self-Sense. Like, it is just a warhorse. It's an honest warhorse. And when it comes, the Kiwa race, it come from behind, last to first, as I said. It's hard and fit. It'll carry the 60.5 kilos. I would like to be with Self-Sense on an each-way basis. I know it's not quite at the each-way quite yet, but you pretty much know what you're going to get with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having, 1.25 on the place and 1 on the win either. I'd count that as in terms of each way.
It's fit and hard. Bondiga was good enough at Flemington. Yeah, it's definitely in the race, but from the barrier...
It needed the run as well, so I think it'll improve stacks on that. That being said, I still couldn't back it here.
It's back in the race, and it's sort of one of those horses that just sucks you in, runs on. It's a bit of a sucker, but it's well in the race. Once again, this is just another off-season. This is if you've got to stay in Australia, you've got 150,000 total stake here, and they're paying to 10th. Under Oath got beaten at Swan Hill, didn't it?
No, I think it's 2.
No, it won at Swan Hill. That's right. Beat it. Yeah, 0 to 64 to beat a horse called Hollow Log. Hollow Log's a 0 to 58 horse, and 2 starts later, I suppose it did run second to Mascalino.
Yeah, but on that run, I'd give it a good shot here, because the mapping just has it really well in. Now, that being said, if Self-Sense sits outside of it, do I think it can beat Self-Sense? No. So, once again, it depends where Self-Sense gets in play.
From Jay Walsh, happy to back Self-Sense each way.
Self-Sense is clearly the better the race on my numbers as well.
Righto, agreed. Isn't this a cracker? Race 7.
Hope that doesn't last too long. I don't like agreeing with you. Vega Magic, second in the Everest last year, $2.15 on its return here. Does not have an Everest slot yet. Voodoo Lad, $3.40. Adrosin, $7, started favourite in a Group 3 in its first run over here, so it's an interesting runner. Jukebox is $8. Blackheart Bard, $11. Innkeeper, $16, longer the rest. This is interesting because, you know, we go back 2 weeks. Jukebox opened up favourite against Voodoo Lad, and then Voodoo Lad did come into really well backed favourite late. And I think just some info before we get into it is I think Jukebox did not parade like it used to. So
You said that.
we were very much taking it on from the yard, and we were very much for Voodoo Lad from the yard, I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm to say, does Jukebox have improvement to come? Most definitely. So I'd just factor that into whatever you're doing. In terms of speed, you got Innkeeper and Jungle Edge going forward. Adrosin probably takes a sit.
And Crystal Dreamer, they're all going to go.
Yeah. Vega Magic take a nice sit off them. Same with Jukebox. Voodoo Lad out the back with Blackheart Bart probably. Camdus, not sure where, but a little slot in out the back.
Yeah, Vega Magic, we've got Blinkers first time, which is usually they're trying to sharpen it up. The best Vega Magic would beat this field hands down without any problems.
Yeah.
Are we getting the best Vega Magic? I don't know. Voodoo Lad, you mentioned it was a bit big last start.
A little bit big. I would say still from a yard perspective, the negatives it had weren't anywhere near that of, say, a Jukebox.
No, but it will strip a little bit fitter, you reckon,
Yeah, it's
Drew?
got a little bit more. Well, you got to remember they've just been taxiing this thing around, and it hasn't exactly had a full prep and just been in the one place.
Well, I'd be happy. Jungle Edge has got barrier 9, and we'll be running on a good track, which you can pen that. Camdus is well up in class. I'm happy to pen it. Innkeeper just keeps surprising me, but it's got 58.5 kilos against Group 1. It's really poorly weighted. This one 214,000. Blackheart Bart 3.9 million. Vega Magic 3.5 million. Voodoo Lad 1.1 million, etc., etc. It's really poorly weighted in keeper. The real query is number 9. This mid-price horse. They spruiked it heavy when it come out here. I might have won a Cranbourne trial or something like that, but
its New Zealand form was just really superior to most sprinters that come out here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it may have just not settled in. I wanted to take it on from the day from the yard, so that's what I remember about the horse.
Yep. We'll see what happens with it, but I don't think it'd be winning. Blackheart Bart's a bit of a war horse, and the bar plates are off, which is a good thing.
Does it win at 1,200 though?
It has won at 1,200, but it probably doesn't.
Yeah.
You keep on coming. Look, Voodoo Lad would be a safe bet, but if the real Vega Magic turns up, it's going to blow them away.
Yeah.
So, and the run in the Goodwood, they rode it like it was absolute certainty. And I know we were speaking to a bloke at Warrnambool who said, "Oh mate, this is just a machine." I think was the term used. So we'll see what happens. But this is great. I like there are some quality horses here. It's good for racing. So let's hope for a finish which puts more money in your bag.
I think you may get one, to be honest. I really think the 8 and the 9 could blow them out here if they improve past, what they've done in the past. And they're the big improvers, and you got the what you know is what you know horses in Vega Magic and Voodoo Lad. I'm coming back to the same market as you, kind of, and penning the rest. Especially Innkeeper. I think if you wanted to back it to place, I would not talk you out of it, but I would not be backing it to win.
No, rightio then. Because we're getting through these nice and quick today. Race 8, Drizzy.
Old mate Snitzerpeg, $5 favourite. Street Chic, unlucky last start, $5. Grey Worm, $6, has been backed. King's Authority, $6.50. Remember the name, $8.50. Seductive Miss, $9.50. $10 and longer the rest. Mapping wise, big field. Grey Worm probably leads them. Remember the name goes forward. Street Chic could potentially sneak forward. Now, this is me just taking a bit of liberty in this one and saying, well, from 11, what do you do? But you got a bunch of horses that are in this race where, you got 3 or 4 that maybe want to go forward and the rest just want to sit in midfield or worse. on their previous pattern. So
Yep, no, I agree with you.
I think if someone wants to take a chance and go forward, they'll get there.
I actually thought Snitzer Peg would sit a bit closer from the barrier as
Well, they can. They can. There's no doubt about that, especially this deep into a prep. From 13, they have two options, go back or go forward, and it's not the Waller stable, so...
No. And what happened last start, they'd be trying to give it a bit of clear air. It was held up for an eternity. Just ask old Horse Miller. I think he might have tweeted about 15 times about it. I'm a bit sore and sorry he was.
It was a bad part of track as well. You couldn't win there, pretty much.
You can't win when you've got 6 horses in front of you. I think bowling in on the fence. But
Street Cheek knows the same thing.
Yes, thankfully, because once again, El Paso beat it 2 starts ago. But big ticks for Street Chic. Yeah. Look, N Punch, young kid doing his best, but Mickey D back aboard. It has to be.
Punchy got his win away.
That was fantastic as well.
Wasn't for me.
I'm a bit of a fan of the Paddy Payne stable, but I'm not. I marked Snitzer Peg on top. Its form in spring last time was probably good enough to win this. Barrier 13, not ideal, but I just think if they get rolling with this horse,
Benny Allen's flying.
Yeah,
his stats back it up.
But get him rolling so he's on pace midfield or just out the back and can swing off the turn. It's the one I'm with. Street Chic was given little hope last start with Mickey D on. Yes, it can improve. It's in the mix now. I'm learning more and more every time, which is the way you should do things. Grey Worm punched up into that breeze at Sandown. It was solid. It was solid. It couldn't improve.
Very good horse.
Yep. Okay.
Very good horse. I would not be laying it if I was a bookmaker. I'll put it that way.
So we're going back to this. I'm happy to lay King's Authority. What else is really in the market? Remember the name. So happy to put in.
I'd say would have thought so. The stable think it's finally drawn a barrier. It's just had no hope the last few starts. They think it'll go a bit better. Remember the name beat Mount Kilcoy 2 runs back in that Flemington race where Mount Kilcoy was just too far off the speed.
Yep.
This race has that type of map where you could just get the race run to suit again. It all depends what Grey Worm wants to do out the front with it. So,
but when you go back to Snitz Peg, it started favourite in the Sandown Guineas Group 2. So no, I'm with Snitz Peg on an each way basis here, and it's not really a race I can bore up bookmaking because I think one of the horses in the market will probably go close.
I have to agree. I'd take on King's Authority if you asked me to take one on in the race. But there aren't many others in the market that I'd be willing to risk. So it's a very competitive race.
Righto. This race here, Druzy, the race 9, the Thanks and Farewell Mike Simon Stakes, or handicap, I should say. This, I reckon we nearly put this in as a Case Bet Cup, wouldn't we?
Definitely the Case Bet Cup. Lots of runners, wide open race, speed on for days with Aussie's Choice out front. Just go through the odds. Aussie's Choice equal favourite with Call Me Handsome, who's been backed in 5s into 440. Barcelona, $8.50. Do you have to say Barcelona with a limited list, right? When you say it?
I went to Waterville College to, spell your name. Pass your 12.
Fair call. So Barcelona, $8.50 to $7.50. The Answer My Friend, $7.50 out to 8s. Chamois Road. They're calling that something completely different up in Sydney.
Chamois.
Yeah, Chamois. Chamois Road, $9.50. Plain CL, $9.50. Malays, $11. Mask at
Actually,
times 17.
someone got on here and said we butcher all the French names. And do you
Of course
know what?
we do.
Of course we do.
My last name actually is, origin is actually French, but we can't trace ourselves back there. So I should probably get it right, but...
Plain seal?
Yeah, it's a plain seal.
Yeah,
is he related to the? Is he related to the roof seal?
Yeah, I was just thinking plain P. Plain like an aeroplane, or plain as in plain Jane. But yeah,
bit of both.
What about we've got my Paisan here? Geez, there is a few French names in this race. So anyway, we'll butcher the names, but hopefully you get a grip on what we're talking about.
Speed map. You got Aussie's Choice, and you got the rest of the field sitting there who aren't going as fast. But you've got the Answer My Friend, who'll be really well suited by actually having some pace on. Werner from out wide is going to try and go forward. Shoreham's always on speed. Call Me Handsome, that was just trying to take some cover. And Jaluccio, which is a Lloyd Kennywell runner. I
think. I just got a few scratchings. Yeah, it's definitely scratched.
Okay. Because that stable, when they bring them over...
Yeah, they're reasonably astute.
They're
There's
right
a couple
on
of those Adelaide trainers, Will Clark and as well. You've got to be very wary of them. They've got a few things going right.
Outside of that, you've just got a bunch of horses. Barcelona could easily sit further forward, but barrier one.
It'd be better off sitting. Yeah, by that, the inside might have chopped out a bit by that time.
Yeah. This
is when I watch the replays, I come back to Call Me Handsome, but it's short enough comparative.
Yeah.
Like $4.60 when you've got Malays at $10 or $11. Malays would probably come in. But the massive overs for me is Mask of Time later in the day. Query's staying at 1400, but they brought this horse over and it ran 2.2 off Tyson Stardom in the Toorak. I think there's a big opinion of this horse. I'm sure there is. So I think the $18 about Mask of Time is something that we should be taking. I'm sure Nick Heathcote will be boring in on an each way basis.
Hopefully getting better than fourth this time around, I would imagine.
But Aussie's Choice will lead.
Yeah.
Well, really, what I want to see is something go to the lead with Aussie's Choice, and
The Answer My Friend will, I reckon.
Well, they're the same stable. I don't know if they will.
They have to. They want to be on
Tried and
speed.
Tides on speed. Barcelona, I reckon, will go a lot closer to on speed this time.
They made a mistake last start and took a sit with it and didn't, push any tempo and cost it any chance.
Well, Chamois Road's close on the pace too. So if Aussie's Choice isn't out by 2 or 3 lengths rolling, the other horses really come into this, I believe. But I'm with Mask of Time at the odds. I do think Call Me Handsome can win. I don't like the price, but it definitely can win. Query, Plain Seal's a Query runner. Like it's tongue-tied first time, so I don't know if it's had breathing problems or what, but it come on the scene.
That's a positive gear change that you like to see, realistically.
Yeah, Plain Seal come on the scene. We thought we were going to have a group horse, and we still might. So I mean, it could come out and blow away. No, very very open race. Very open race.
Open race, one that you probably missed that I like. It won very well in Adelaide was Tried and Tied. I know it's an old horse. It's it just keeps going around, but I think it ran probably its best race in 2 to 3 years last start, and I just think it's a bit over the odds. I agree with you on Mask of Time. I reckon they could try and sneak a little bit further, closer to the speed as well, because I think it's just been sitting too far back. The Answer My Friend could improve, but I think they're backing it as such. Aussie's Choice just did all the work into that Flemington headwind last time. It'll be much better suited by Caulfield on the weekend. You have to be a good horse to get past it.
There's a lot of horses that can improve, and hence it's Case Bet Cup. So I will put my name down for Mask of Time for the Case Bet Cup. Obviously, there's some grouse merch coming out, including mugs and bits and pieces. But
there are a few mugs, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll let the boys at Betfair deliver that to the first and last placings of the Case Bet Cup.
I'll take Tried and Tied for the Case Bet Cup. More than happy to be with that stable. No issues at all.
Righto, Druzy. So best of the day.
Modern Wonder, which is race 4, number 5 on the each way.
Yeah, I'm with Mantastic. The value bet of the day will be Mask of Time for me. Lay of the day, well, I'm not confident, but I'm not confident.
I'll take on Bondiga.
Yeah, I was nearly going to say Bondiga.
And if you wanted me to give another one, so it's a tough one for something outside that. You could easily take on Just Highfalutin, but it's a bit of a...
I could probably lay Social Spin in the first at the odds. I thought the odds were back to front. Yeah, not confidently, but I will be getting something out of Social Spin. Now, we had some good viewer questions.
Some very good viewer questions.
Yeah.
So first one, I'll get the name up afterwards, but they're asking, what do you think of the Henry Dwyer stable? It hasn't been going very well lately. Are they the type of stable that you want to still be backing, or what would you be doing with it? I'm happy to answer this one if I think you're probably not allowed to.
I can answer it. I haven't been... I've never been real confident with the Henry Dwyer stable, and if anything, it's got worse.
Yeah, the stats don't lie. They're having a really lean spell. That's obviously what the question said. Have they been presenting their horses worse in the yard? I don't think so. Have they been doing a lot wrong? Tactics-wise, I don't think so. I'd say Under Oath could actually win on the weekend. That was Ben's Racing Tips who asked the question, by the way. Look, I think they're just in a lean patch. They're not really getting the horses coming through either because no one's really saying, oh, let's go get a horse with Aquanita, are they?
Oh, it's not so much that. Yeah, the polish is gone.
Yeah.
Polish is gone. But but then again, they might be able to come out and blow them away. Yeah, but this is the best question I've heard.
Jared?
Yeah, Captain J. Who is Jared? This is the best. 3 questions. What is the best way to identify where a horse will map in the run? Any service recommendations? Well, where a horse is going to map in the run, it's relying on its past history. So where it's sat previously will give an indication of where it's likely to sit going forward. Obviously, the stable information in terms of when they say we're going to lead on it, well, it should lead because that's what they're giving the information out for. But
Like Team Williams last week, we're going back with both of ours, and they go back.
And got rolled,
Yeah.
which they weren't in the right space. But look, there is a lot of speed map information around. You can even get it off the TAB website, or Betfair give it out. But I find the best way is I watch the replays and mark them accordingly and go from there. But yes, there is any service recommendations, use speed maps. I'm a big rap for that.
Definitely, and I'd just say Punting Form has an algorithm that's in place that looks at the past history of the horse, where they've settled, but also based on the sectional data.
Yep.
So we can say, okay, while that person has led that horse may have led the past 3 starts, against these horses going up in class, it's not going to be leading with that same speed, and it automatically
shifts
that
it. Yeah. So that yes, speed map's a big yes. After a shit day on the punt, do you prefer to wash away your sorrows via a normal zinger box or zinger stacker box?
Ooh.
I'm a big rap. I think they've got, you go down like you get $20 worth of chicken. You feel like a man just eating it off the bone, like smashing it. So
Off the bone.
Yeah, you need them like I like the thigh bits and the drumsticks. Just go down and get 10 pieces, a couple of stubbies, whatever. You sit down and just like a fat bastard off.
Back from Flemington 3 weeks ago, I stopped in at the KFC just on the way to the Monash.
Yep.
Perfectly just fresh cooked, just the fillets, just 4 little full fillet things, and they were the best I've had in a long time.
But this is the best of Jared's questions. How do I launder punt money from the missus? Now,
how good were some of the replies?
This comes back with the bloke who the reply to, it might have been where I retweeted.
Glenn.
Yeah.
So Glenn has come back with a shopping way to do it.
That's tell the missus I'm going down to the supermarket to buy the shop and take an extra 10 or $20 at every step. That is
bin receipt. That's the most important part.
That's smart. But mate, cash economy. Don't worry about it. Just get to the track, bet in cash. You've got no problems with that then. Or look, there's nothing wrong with a couple of phantom bank accounts. Not that hard to shoot down.
Well, here's the most important thing that you can do. You get a tab card, and even you're not betting with the tab, you can just chuck the money that you won at the track that day on your tab card, so that instead of having to take cash home with you...
No, you can't. You can't do it. Do you know why?
Why not?
Because that's why they banned my account. They said I was using it as a banking service.
Really?
Had nothing to do with me taking the fixed odds at over the price and all that sort of stuff. So first opportunity, they stuck it up for me as hard as they could. But how do I launder money from... Oh, actually the easiest way to launder money on the punt from your missus, you just don't tell her anything.
Yeah.
Just no, nothing. And when you go and tell her, look, it's been a tough year at work, wages haven't been increased by the CPI, and that, just keep on grinding that 3%. And depending on where, if you work for yourself, you're sweet, just do a few cashies. If you trade, you do cashies. If you work in an office, you usually you can split your pay between accounts if you ask them nicely. So there's plenty of options there, but that's the best question. What else we got here? Oh, futures. I've got no idea about futures.
And just on that, if you're splitting it between accounts, you can claim that to the missus you're putting a little bit more into super.
Yeah, put extra into super. Just don't let her see your tax return.
Yeah. Never do that.
Three rules. If she asks you what's going on, you deny it. If she asks you again, you deny it. If she asks again, you deny it. Yeah, futures I've got no help with. Now, please, Cozzy, please help me pinpoint something useful when I assess Vince Cardi's free profiles on Betfair. That's a Hayden Byrne question.
I'd simply say that it allows you to identify a horse that if you think it's a swooper's track and you think that the final 400 metres is the most important part of it, that can show you the horse that you think is going to be, coming extremely hard late. And if you're betting in play and that horse suddenly maps just off the speed when you had it mapping last, you can, you know, get some more on and play. That's the type of thing that you'll probably be using it for, I imagine.
Yeah, it's outside of my realms. There's that much information out there. Stick with what works for you.
Yeah.
Always be open to new things, but if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. We've got some stupid questions here from Ross Brody and Tigsy. Tigsy's a very astute man, whereas Ross is very stupid at times. So Tigsy will handle Ross easy there.
Best futures bet?
Oh, look, as I said, that's outside of... It's too early for me, but I will say something about the futures. They used to put out in the early days like a sheet where they had the crossovers with the Caulfield Melbourne Cup doubles.
Yeah.
It was an absolute fill-up for the bookmakers. The futures, the bookies make a stack of money on futures, so unless you've got a bit of inside information...
Which is what you need.
Otherwise, you're probably better if you've got the control and you're going to have $10 on it going into a major race. If you back it at starts and use that money and then put it on at the SP, you might find you're in front. The markets are sort of somewhat against you doing that sort of stuff.
I would say where you get your money the best on these is when you know an international runner's coming out here for a run.
Yep.
It's having its previous run where it needs to basically, you know, win it to come out. You can get on any of the bookmakers as soon as it's run within 2 minutes. You got your money ready, loaded, ready to go as soon as it's about to win. You hit submit, you'll get it on as long as you don't have a restricted account.
Yep.
That's where you can get the overs. One horse I'm really watching for the spring is called Best Solution. I wrote an article about it last week. The query for it is it's probably going to have another run before it comes out, and even then it sounds like they're more keen on the Melbourne Cup than the Caulfield Cup, which I think it'd be winning.
Yeah, well, as I said, Drewsy's a man. It's outside of my my natural abilities.
I'd say just Caulfield Guineas, it's hard to look past Brutal as well. That was a sensational win against the pattern of the day at Caulfield 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Obviously wanted to see it do something afterwards.
Bit going on here anyway.
Yeah.
But
outside there, Everest, no thanks, won't touch at this point of time.
Right, well, that's probably us, Drew. Short,
Definitely.
sharp, 47 minutes, answered all the questions. Good luck out there today. So,
You'll be on track upstairs?
I'd say best of the day, fantastic. Best each way for me, mask of time.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, I'll be upstairs. There's not much. I'd like to be able to say I've got something like Mascalino the other week. The owners come up and had a good bet with me, which was great. A bit of banter, good blokes. That's what we like. They love their race, a few beers and a punt. Yeah, I haven't got one for you this week that I'm going to take on, but I'll try and be a bit more proactive in finding something that you can
have overs with you.
Beat the bagman with. Yeah.
Perfect.
All good. Over and out.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Have a good week.